back to the Power and Legend podcast. I'm your host, Solana Lewis, and today I speak with this year 2024 IPF best lifter and world champion and world record holder in the squats for the heaviest female drug tested squat of all time and world record holder in the 84 kg plus weight class, Sonita Muluh. And I'm excited because the last time she was on the podcast, it was last year after Worlds where she got second place. And she was very close, like literally inches away on her deadlift, a soft knee lockout away from getting first place. And so to come back full circle a year later and to talk about how she is now a world champion is an incredible moment. We had a great talk just about everything from her prep, which she was saying did not go very well, to the actual day of the meet, what she's looking forward to doing next. Really just good stuff. So if it's not your first time here and you're coming back, that means you must like us enough to give us a 5-star rating and review on whatever platform you listen on. And let's go ahead and dive into today's episode. All right, y'all. I am back with none other than Sonita Muluh, IPF World's best lifter from this past year, world record holder in the 84 kg plus weight class, squat world record holder. That is the heaviest squat any drug-tested female lifter has ever done. And all after what you called the prep from hell that had everyone on 2 White Lights putting you not first because we were like, if you say it's not going to go well, we're just going to believe you. How are you?
I'm feeling fine. Thank you. That was a long intro.
Oh my gosh. And you've had a few weeks now to like digest everything that's happened. So that's why I waited a bit to reach out. Cause I was like, okay, like that was a lot.
It was 100%.
I would love to start with talk to me because the last time I had you on, you had just gotten second place at World. And we had a great conversation about that. And you were inches away from being a world champion at that meet, like maybe 2 inches. We thought you had it, and then at the very end you lost it. So now full circle, you are a world champion, and you had the day of your life. Talk to me about the prep going into this meet and why you were saying it was so bad. What was going on?
The thing is, I remember that I was talking to Jerins about this, and he's like, if you pull something big at the World Championship, people are not going to believe that you were injured, but that's not a point. I mean, you're not there to prove yourself to anyone. And I was like, yeah, that was like I think 2 weeks out of the World Championship, I was having a chat with Jerins. But in general, it's like, I think 8 weeks into prep, I had the sacrum injury. Like, I don't know what happened, but something popped in my sacrum because I didn't want to go check it out because I mean, in prep, most of the time when I get injured in prep, I'm scared to do an MRI because I don't want to find out if it's too bad, if I have to fall out or not. So what I did was just going like twice a week to my physio. So we were working on that. But when that happened, because my prep started up very good. Like I did like this 280 squat that was like so speedy. And the first thing I did was posted it because first of all, I love posting my trainings and I like growing my Instagram like that. I mean, the people that follow me is because of those lifts that I do. So, but the second week into prep, I had to be on a TV show in Belgium. And on that TV show, I felt a squat over my neck. I didn't post that, but so we got to the show and we told the people there because they don't really know much about, the sport. And I were like, please don't touch the bar because the presentator wanted like the other 2 guys to be there because it's for the show, of course. So they had to stand on the side. So we like gave them instructions like don't touch the bar and just stand there, don't do nothing because I had Christoph and the gym owner where Enzo, where I trained from Atlas. I had both of them with me because for my safety, I'm going to bring 2 people that can sport and do it well. So they were there as well. But I got down into the squat. It was just 220 kilos. So it wasn't like really that heavy. I mean, I think I have a bad thing with 220 because that's the second time he tried to kill me. my first fail before the World Championship last year where I got injured was also with
That
220.
was
So
the
this
20 where it rolled over your neck. Oh my god! Yeah, you can't ever squat that again.
I know. So when I went down into the squat and I was about to go back up, the guy grabbed the bar from one side and pull it up, and it literally pulled me forward. So I had to like literally build over my neck. It was like it happened so fast that Christoph and Enzo didn't even have time to react. So
Okay.
yeah, so I didn't even, Joey doesn't know about this. My coach doesn't know about this because so I thought about all the panic situation. I was like, that was 9 weeks out of prep. So I had just started my prep block actually.
Mhm.
So then it was on a Tuesday. So it was on a Sunday that I got hurt after that, like the same week. On a Sunday that I got hurt in the training. But I didn't want to find a connection there or anything. But I'm like, I might have pulled something or whatever. And it was just waiting for a moment to pop. But I didn't know. So when that happened in the gym, trust me, God, I thought I was done. Literally. I literally thought I was done. Because after the failed squat, I was like, okay. I mean, I got up and asked them to load the weight. I did a squat again. So I took it over again. But when I had the injury on Sunday, I was like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. Oh, I was so positive starting this prep because after Sheffield, I was like really low on motivation to train.
Oh,
So I went to Euros and I got like this extra hype from competing at Euros because it was just a low key meet for me. I didn't like really have to peak or anything.
yeah.
So I was just there to like start to build momentum into my training. That was the reason why I really like also did Euros. So when I got back home, I was like really so hyped to start my prep for World Championships, and all of those things happened. So it was, I would say, I uh, I was struggling with the weights. Of course, I was, and not only physically, but I was struggling a lot mentally because squat for me is like my child.
Can I ask you what was the TV show?
It's called in Dutch Amai Zeg het Wauw. It's that's how it's called, but it's also like from under I mean, it's a big show. It was a big TV show, but it was again just for like 15 minutes that I had to be on that show for that 15 minutes that it almost killed me.
Yeah. Well, that's insane. Was it just to showcase powerlifting in an arena where like there's never
Yeah,
any?
it was because I became the first woman to squat the 200 kilos, and they brought that on the show and all those things because they played it on the show, and so it was just like I had to like a bit explain what powerlifting was, and then I just we thought it was nice that I showed them what a squat was because we had live audience.
You know,
So
you know what's insane? So I just last week interviewed Tamara Walcott. Do you know that name?
yeah, yeah,
I'm sure you do, right? And we talked about how her squat or her deadlift, sorry, got her on the generous. And they wanted her to squat, and her team had to explain how they were not going to do that because they needed spotters, they needed safety, and they could just tell working with those people, like they don't
yeah,
know lifting. They're like, oh,
yeah,
we'll put in bumper plates and we'll, figure it out. And they're like, no.
yeah,
And I'm like, just to hear this now, like, and so you guys tried it, but like they don't understand the sport.
yes,
Let's
yes.
just keep something cool. And it's like, no, I could get really injured if you guys mess this up. Like,
100%. Because the thing is, it was nice that they came all the way to the gym, collect the equipment that I needed to set the place up, and we figured a way out to where I had to warm up before it was my turn to shoot. But it was just the fact that I know for the show that I wanted to get the guest members involved, but I think the explanation was very clear. But I don't know. I think the guy panicked. Whatever. I have no idea what happened to in his mind that he had to pull the weight off. But yeah, that happened. But that is the past now, of course.
yeah.
I mean, the injury, everything else for me is like, um, I feel like God takes you sometimes through the worst situations just to pull you back out. At the end of the day, when you're like almost like losing faith, you're just hanging on that small faith left. And anyways, I think like about 3 weeks out of the World Championships, I had not done anything above 260 kilos, literally honest. What I posted on my timeline towards that time, it was what was happening to me in the gym. So, but the thing is the fact that I was so frustrated that time that I was like, I started pushing myself too much as well. So 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks of my prep, the first, let's say 3 weeks out of the World Championships on Wednesday. So it wasn't really 3 weeks because Wednesday is like already into the week.
Yeah.
And so it was like 2.5 weeks. I went from not lifting anything above 260 into going to attempt a 290 squat. Girl.
That's a big jump. It's a big jump.
I had the biggest breakdown of my whole life. I think I went into depression.
Oh, I think that's the post I saw where you were like showing Joey's responses.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't send the video first. At first, I went to the toilet. I was bawling out my eyes. I didn't feel the squat. That's the thing. The thing is, I felt like my body couldn't squat.
Mm-hmm.
So I did the squat. It was high, but it was a mini grind. It was like more than an RPE 9. That's how it felt like to me. And in my mind, I'm thinking like this is 290. I'm 2.5 weeks out, and this is how 290 is feeling at the moment. Then I'm fucked.
Yeah. Oh my God. That has to
So
be scary because you never squat high. So you're like, I'm
yeah,
grinding out a
thank
high
you.
squat. Like, well,
Thank you.
hold on now.
That's what Joey was like, but you never have problem with debt. But I'm like, right now I am having problem with debt because I think what had happened was the fact that because I got injured in my sacrum, I couldn't squat to depth because with the pain. So I had reduced my stance a bit without knowing. It's like your body always like trying to adapt to the into a situation where it's not hurt. It doesn't hurt. So I had reduced my stance a bit, and I was using more quads than I was when I was using my bike and all that stuff. So I came back that night. I think that's the first time in so long that I signed off my Instagram. Like I was like I was in a very bad place. I'll say that. So I started going through like my videos from like last year. I don't know, like down into like the world championship from last year. I started checking every video, seeing what I'm doing wrong because I just tell everyone like something is not adding up and something is not clicking. So I like started like look, I zoom in, I compare vid. I was sending some of those. Like I literally put videos like next to each other in like a how you call that thing again, a collage or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like comparing them, and I'm slowly. I didn't sleep the whole night from Wednesday to Thursday. 5 a.m. I was still up on my phone trying to see what I was doing wrong. So
Did you see it?
I did. I did. And the thing was the fact that I just had to go a bit wider on my stance.
Okay.
So I think I was up Instagram for like 4 days. From Wednesday to Sunday, I didn't sign into my Instagram because people were having like nice preps. I'm seeing people posting like nice training, and in my mind, I'm just like, because I have prep before, right? By this time I'm thinking like by this time in my other preps, I was hitting insane numbers. I was pushing PRs in the gym, and I'm not having that. And it was just killing me because I'm feeling like right now I am still this low. I feel like I'm on train or whatever because my intensity had been very low, like first weeks of prep, and I had just 2 weeks left to prep because the last week is a taper down. I'm not really counting that.
Mm-hmm.
So in my mind, I'm like, I just have 2 weeks, and if I cannot squat anything important, I don't think I'm going to be able to do anything at the World Championships. At a certain point, I told Christoph, like, see, I'm going to show up at the World Championship and bench with like 75 kilos.
So you actually did you consider like even dropping out? Like that crossed your mind?
I did. I did. I did. The thing is, I was being so hard on myself that I thought like if I'm going to the World Championship this year and I'm not going to win, if I'm not going to win, there was no need for me going. That's like because I feel like I had gone against Brit for like twice, and I always feel like I'm capable of it. I've always had that feeling in me that I'm capable of it, but it's just always slipped through my fingers. That's how I felt. So I was like, this time, if I'm not going to win, then there's no need for me even showing up, literally. And yeah, but the Sunday, I think exactly 2 weeks out of World Championships, that was exactly 2 weeks out of world championship. I did I went to the gym. I'm like, I did 280 for like triples, and I'm like, it wasn't still depth. It
Okay.
wasn't up. It wasn't still to depth, but in my mind, I was like, I could have gone down to depth, but because I've never done that weight, I was holding back a bit. So it wasn't like I wasn't capable of it. Like I did a 290. So in my mind, I was like this. But it put me a little bit in a positive side. I mean, I started saying like a bit of a positive because Christoph had been so positive that it annoyed me.
That's probably
I
helpful
feel
though,
like
right? You need somebody.
I feel like he was not seeing where I was coming from, being frustrated about everything because he was being so positive, really. It was so, and Joyce, he was being so positive, like he has no doubt we're going to be able to like dial things in at the end of the day. Christoph was like, for me, the thing that frustrated me the most was the fact that I didn't have a diet of a bad prep. I've always had like really good preps, apart from the fact that I always do something ended up happening. But until that thing happened, my prep has always been very good. Because I don't know if I ever talk about I barely ever talk about bench and deadlift, but it's for me if my squat is not going well, my prep is not going well.
Okay. And it makes sense. That is your lift. Like that is your like
Yes,
I'm coming into
yeah,
the spot.
that's literally like my baby. I'm like I'm going in like that's like my if my child is sick, then I am sick.
We are sick. The household is sick.
My household is sick, 100%. So it was just like Crystal was like so positive, and he's trying to like say, I'm like, if I'd had a data to compare this prep with another bad prep that I had before, I might be more with peace with myself. But I didn't have no data to compare. Like, am I going to be able to perform after such a prep, or I didn't have no data to compare that with. So just the fact that I think it took me so long to start squatting above 260 was the fear of being hurt again in prep. I mean, I keep saying that we had a little bit of time, we had a little bit of time, we had a little bit of time, but at the end of the day, you start seeing like everything is coming together so quick that you don't actually have the time you thought you had. So it was just the fact that I was scared. I mean, I was scared of getting hurt. I was scared of re-injuring myself. So it was like mentally, I was subconsciously, I was holding myself back without knowing. I don't know, but um, then I think the last week of prep, which was like 1.5 week out, the next Wednesday, I did like a 300 squat in the gym.
300?
And yeah, I did 200 squat in the gym. And that was the video I sent to Jerens. And he was like, yeah, that's when he started saying, like, if you go to the world championship and hit big lift, like, people might be doubting if you're injured. I'm like, at the end of the day, I really don't care because I know what I've been through my prep. I had 2 weeks to prep on squat, two. And it was just because I literally just take RP out of the window. I'm like, I'm not going to the gym anymore to squat on RP. I'm going to the gym. I'm like, I'm going to squat 300 today.
That, that was going to be a question I asked you. Were you just trying to hit RPE and say, okay, well, I'm too scared that like anything past 260 will be a 10, so I'm just going to like hold back to hit the RPE?
Yeah, no, that was before the last 2 weeks. And the thing is, the fact the last 2 weeks, I was just lifting according to how my body allowed me, according to the pain that I was feeling. And if I to hit a 220 squat and it doesn't hurt, then I'll hit a 220 squat. But literally, I have Christoph and the other guys in my gym were spotting me with like with 70 kilo on the bar. I had spotters with 70 kilos on the bar. The first 2 weeks I got injured, I was squatting with box. I was using a because I couldn't go below parallel because of the pain in my sacrum. So I was doing a box squat in the gym. And then you see them like trying to spot me with like a 70 kilo. I'm like, what the hell's my life become?
I can see how that would knock down your motivation a little bit. World's best spotters,
Yeah.
red. Let's go. that is definitely tough.
Yeah,
So
that was like it was just a hard time for me, and I feel like the feelings of me being disappointed in myself or being scared or all those things were new because I have never had to experience a prep like that before. And it was different. And I didn't know how to deal with them. I really didn't.
in the
Yeah.
meantime, was bench and deadlift moving?
Bench has always been up and about. That's one thing with my bench because I still have a shoulder problem. The same problem I had at Sheffield, I still had that. But after Sheffield, I decided to taper down completely on bench, and try to do rehab. But the moment the intensity for the prep pick up, the pain started. So it was just like I tried to work on it for like some couple of I think like 2 months or something, and then immediately that the prep started, intensity went up. The shoulder was like back to square one. So and but I noticed that the lift that I had done before in the gym, the lifts that I've done before the Prefer Sheffield, they were moving faster.
Okay.
So I mean, I could see the progress on bench. Like my 140 moves better than it did before because I love to compare them. my, I did like 135, like a triple, which was like first time PR. Actually, I posted that I also posted. So bench itself made me feel like if I had a good taper, I was gonna have a good bench session. That's what I felt my bench. Deadlift, on the other hand, because I wasn't really pushing squat because squat wasn't going up that well, I was having more time to like, because normally I've always sacrificed my deadlift over my squat. I've always gone into deadlift session with a very sore back from squat because I had done too much on squat and all those things. But this time I was able to like focus on working on my lockouts, which has been always been a problem most times. The bar goes off the floor with speed, and then when it touches my massive quads, then it just gets stuck. So because my squat was so behind on everything else, the intensity was low. I had time to like, be cleaning on my deadlift. But apart from that, it was just, even if I had a good deadlift day or good bench day, it didn't really mean much to me if I wasn't having a good squat day. So
And
yeah.
again, that is fair. I was asking how I'm looking at your deadlift. I'm like, at Worlds last year, the number that you missed that cost you it was the number that you hit, and it moved so well. That
Yeah, that's like,
must have been like trending up at least. So that's like,
yeah, but I think at the end of the day, there was not really much to show for my deadlift because, again, like you said, the numbers that I hit at the World Championship was the same number that I tried to hit last year and failed.
mm,
And the thing is, I actually locked it out last year, but I got reread for it, so we couldn't even debate it with the judges. So, and the bench I had at the World Championship was the one I failed at Sheffield. So, but the only thing that was there for me, my squad, even when we traveled to Lithuania, and I was still being so damn stressed about everything. But I remember the Wednesday when we were there in Lithuania, I sat on the bed and telling Christoph, like, me being here early and going to the competition and see people fight for like their title, no matter how bad their prep or good their prep had gone, it kind of like made me more, I mean, it lit like a fire inside of me, and I was more calm than I was when I got here. So and now I'm just in my mind, I was like, I'm ready to like go on Sunday. No matter what happens on Sunday, I think given my circumstance, I did what I had to do. And I'm here, so I'm just ready to like put it out there on Sunday. And we were actually hoping my openers were finally decided on the prep on the competition day. That was like we were warming up. We were like, we're gonna see how it feels, and if you're feeling good, like, we're gonna put the openers that might lead us, like, give us a big jump on squats if squat are moving good. So and we finally agreed on those numbers, and then it was like even Joey was still a little bit scared because he was still a little bit like, let's maybe reduce it like just half 2.5 kilos and stuff like that. But I'm like, if you see how my 260 moved, my last one, which was a 265 moved, it was like literally an empty bar. And I'm just there like, damn.
all right. So then let's get into meet day. So you guys decided your official openers day of.
Yeah.
260 moves like an empty bar. You're feeling good. You had the motivation because you just watched everyone else compete, which is a good benefit you guys have. Like, you're always gonna be like the last day, so you
Yeah.
get to like get motivated throughout the week as you
Yeah,
see.
definitely. Definitely. It was like literally different feelings going there every day and just being so hyped from seeing everyone else compete. It was just different. So I'm really happy that because that did help me out a lot. Because even though still on the day of comp, I couldn't still like, keep my nerves in control. But I was ready to go all out on Sunday, like I was.
And you said like you're close with Jurens. Like that must have been really inspiring when you saw him win. You must be like, oh my God, it's a wrap. I gotta go. Like it's my turn. I gotta go.
And the thing we were scared about, last year the turnover was like 8 people in the prime time. And we had like this quick turnover. And if I'm going to be doing big squats, it's a little bit like exhausting on the body, which I think that my squat would have been moving better if I had like enough time to actually recuperate between them. But personally, last year I didn't feel the quick turnover. It was normal to me. So I didn't even, I mean, when somebody come and say it's your turn to go and I'm going, I'm like, I don't feel like I was underrested or whatever. I felt like I was good. I was ready to go again. But this time around, I felt like I could have needed a little bit more time between the 300 and the 311 squat because it was simply I couldn't get my nerves under control because anyways, let's say when we got there, we waiting and we were warming up and all those things. Christoph was like, the plan was if we're having a bad day, we're gonna stick to 260, 270, 2.5, which we had on the openers, and then we can ship the world record with like a 2.5 kilo more or 3 kilo more. But that was gonna be it. But if we're feeling good, and because also before we even got there, we don't know what Brittany was doing in training. We don't know what Alexis was doing in training, but I knew that I couldn't also stretch myself out without stretching them out as well. So I had stretched everyone out to like limits. So when I got the paper of the openers, I'm thinking that everyone has fake openers on the paper because the numbers were not adding up. They were not. I mean, the math was not matching to me. So I was like, this openers don't look right. I'm looking at the openers. Christoph is looking at the openers. He was 100% convinced that the openers were not good. So what I had to do was make sure that my warm-ups they move fast, convincing enough for us to be able to like decide like if we're gonna push it up or not. So yeah, so it was going quite well. So when it got to like I did 245, I think. No, I did 240, and then that moved very fast. And then Christoph loaded like 255, which would have been my last one if I was opening with 272.5. So he had that on the bar, and then he just waited a bit, and I was like, I told him like, I feel like I'm good, because I always know I always know when I like do 175, 170 kilos. If I load 170 kilo on the bar, I know like from there that I'm gonna have a good day or a bad day. So that's always been something with me. Like just even 120 sometimes when I unrack it, I'm like, yeah, this feels like really shit. So I already know I'm gonna have a bad day with that. So, but after 240, I'm like, I think we were doing good. I was feeling good. I was ready to go kill it. So he went and bombed the openers to 285. I mean, it's a big jump. It was a big
Bump up.
But the thing is, in our minds, we still thought everyone had fake openers.
Did they?
Yeah, I don't know. We thought everyone had fake openers on, so we're like, "Yep, 285. Here we come."
So that's hilarious. So you hit your last warm up. You said it was 265.
Yeah, yeah.
That flies. Obviously, your opener flies. So after your
Mhm.
opener, what was the conversation, or was it just you were like, "I trust you," I'm walking away?
Yeah, no. They said 301. I'm like, "Yep."
Okay.
I didn't even think twice. I did not even think twice. Literally, I'm passing by there like 301. I'm like, "Yep," and I went back when I saw my shit. Because I am an athlete. Like to know, I like to know like what I'm gonna do next. Also, they're always like, and I'm very honest too. If it doesn't feel good, I'm gonna be like, this did not feel good. So maybe we might have to reduce the numbers or not. So, but when we like said 301, I'm like, there we go, load it up, and I went and sat down. But the thing is, the fact that I got so nervous, I don't know why. That because I thought after my first squat that I was gonna be better, but I couldn't get it under control. I was like literally shaking. You couldn't see it on the video, but I was trembling, and that is something that almost never happens to me. I think it's because I also know there was a lot on the line, so everything else was on like based on that me making to reach squat. I think that was like so much pressure on me on doing that Yeah, because I remember coming there and I was asked by other athletes how I was feeling. I'm like, I'm feeling okay, but I know that I'm stressing, even though I'm not showing it because my stomach felt blocked. If I'm stressing, my stomach, I always have like a blocked stomach. Like I cannot eat, I'm not hungry, I don't feel hungry and stuff like that. And that's exactly how I felt. So I knew that I was like having like a lot of stress. So but when it came to the squat session, I was trembling, girl. I was like, that was so strange because I thought I had passed all the nerve and the stress thing because I'm used to squatting and all those things. But I know that there was a lot on the line for making three squats. I had to make sure that I make three squats. And the goal for us was to go 6 on 6 on squat and bench. That was the goal because so far if you look at the world championship last year, I went through and through on squat, but I failed my second bench, which I had to retake it. At Sheffield, I failed my third bench, which I'm losing all the kilos. So the thing that we did different this time was the fact that we just stick to two small jumps, then do a big jump and then do a small jump. So we just like decided to take like 5 on 5, which worked very well. So that's the thing that we had decided to do different this time. So I knew I had to do 6 on 6 on squat and bench if I had to win. That's all I know. So
Yeah, and you know, like losing, just like I said, losing like just a little bit on that total when you have like competition that's so close, like
yeah.
you do, it's like you can't afford to miss it. You just
Yeah.
can't. And then you see your opponent, and like the last 2 meets, Brittany has to hit her list. So it was like, no, I have to hit them or else.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I just felt again like we were still going forward, still not believing that the openers were real until we saw them go out for those numbers. And first of all, I didn't know how much I was in ahead after the squats, because I think Christoph mentioned that I was like 20 kilo or something ahead. I cannot even recall because I don't think I was even paying attention to what he was saying at a certain point.
Wait, before we talk about how far you were on the squat, so you hit your session, you were very nervous because your prep was not great for squat, which is why you're nervous. Like squats have been like shit, and now I gotta go squat. You hit 301. What were your feelings after 301?
The thing is, I couldn't really tell for sure. The 301 rolled on my back. If you watch the video well, it rolled a lot forward, and I had to correct it while going back up, which made the squat like twice as it felt like twice as heavy as it should have been because when I unracked that squat, it felt light.
Mm-hmm.
When I went down into the position, it felt so light. I was like, "Oh, this is good." And then I was when I was coming back up midway, the back completely pushed me forward, which again was because I was stressing out and I was nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I have that, the bar always roll forward. If I'm stressing out on squat or if I'm nervous on squat, my bar always roll forward, which is a little bit of fear, and I don't like that. That's why I always like competing with fear. It doesn't really it doesn't work hand in hand. So after that, I was coming off. I think Joey said, should we do 208, 308, or what do you want us to do? I'm like 311.
But was he just like, okay? What did he say?
He trusted me for that because at Sheffield also I was one that insisted on the 300.5 because he wanted us to hold back because again I didn't misgroove my second attempt. It went up and stopped. There was like a weird person in the middle, and then I went back up. So I misgrooved my second attempt. So he trusted me the fact that if I did that at Sheffield and I had it, so he's sure that I was gonna have it this time as well. So even though he wanted to stay safe, but he did trust the fact that I was capable of, like, I know myself and I'm capable of picking what I'm capable of. So yeah, he just said, okay, that's good. So then they loaded the 311. And when I came up with the 311 again, I couldn't control myself. I was like, "Urgh." And one thing I noticed when I'm watching the whole competition is like I was setting off faster than I usually do because I usually like spend almost all my minutes like I'm having countdown when I'm working out my bar. I think that always take like 5 years of Crystal's life.
Just slowly setting up.
The fear of like I'm gonna bum out if I don't do the squats or something. But I always take my time. But I was most of these squats, I look at them, I'm like before the beep, I was almost working out on my squat, which like before 30 seconds, I'm like, this was so fast. looking back at it, I was like, I should have taken a bit longer time, just to breathe in and like try to focus a bit more. But yeah, I mean, it all worked out for the better. So I cannot really complain about the nerves and everything. But that 311 squat again, I remember thinking like this felt like when I unracked it, it felt like the 300 when I did in training, 1.5 week out before that. And I'm like, this feels light. So I knew I was gonna have it. The moment I unracked the squat, I knew I was gonna have it. So there was no part of me that was gonna give up that squat.
I saw in your post you said the bar roll again, but like 3 different times.
That was 3 different times.
I was like, it is kind of moving.
That was like literally 3 different times that you see me like stop, and then it was like so awful. But all I know I was thinking about that moment is like I mean I didn't even think for once that I was gonna give up. The thought did not cross my mind at all because I knew that I had it when I unracked it. So
I mean, that's all the confidence boosting you need. You just have to wait till the day of, unrack it. Okay, it's light. We're good.
we're good. If you feel light on your back, you're good.
I understand that though. Oh my god, that was such an incredible moment though. Like you put was that 10.5 kilos from the
10.5 kilos.
That's ridiculous. Like you went from
I
a prep
know.
of you touched 280 for a triple one time.
Yeah, I didn't do 200 kilos, and then I wasn't bam. So 311.
11.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we had calculated Brittany. We had Brittany around 290 squat or even plus, and we had Alexis also above 280 squat. So I know that I needed some kilos on my squat to be able to stay ahead. All I knew is the fact that no matter what happens, I was gonna just try to maintain my lead on deadlift. That's what I thought, but things not go as we thought they were gonna go. So yeah, even at the end of the day, I still wanted a 9 for 9 day. I was like, I'm gonna just go out for deadlift. I don't care.
Yeah,
I haven't had a 9 for 9 for so long.
that was my next question. I was like, are you happy you went after the last deadlift and what that weight was, knowing that you could have probably gone a little bit lighter just because of Sheffield and everything?
Yeah, the thing is the fact that I actually don't know how much lead I had when it came down to deadlift. I didn't. I know I didn't lose that much ground on bench to Brittany, and also because I also had Alexis a bit ahead on bench. I also did not lose that much ground to her as well, like I thought I would have. So, but in my mind, when it came down to that, I didn't know how far I was ahead. Even if I had known, it was like for me, I wanted a 9 for 9 day, and you know like they're always gonna be like somebody that can come out of nowhere and start pulling for the win, and I didn't want that kind of situation where somebody comes and pull out like a Hail Mary deadlift, and then and no, I didn't want that. So I told him like if we can extend them, we're gonna extend them to like 290 deadlift. So that was like I was not gonna leave no stone unturned.
And also, did you have any clue that you were about to get world's best lifter, IPF best lifter with that last deadlift?
That's the thing that Christoph had said that so many times that nobody did pay attention to. Christoph has said so many times that the person that wins the 84 is gonna win best lifter overall. He has said that I think even on his stories, he told everyone that had ears to listen. I mean, because even when we were there before my competition, with after Amanda had no, I think Amanda did not compete yet. We're talking to Joey. Joey said that was the night before Amanda. So that was on Friday. We're out for dinner, and we're talking to Joey. And Joey also mentioned Amanda wants to go for the overall. That's one of her goals this week. Then we also mentioned again, like say, with the numbers we were saying that I might hit. If I hit those numbers, I'm winning overall. I mean, there's no chance. I mean, there was no, and we did stay 2.5 kilo under my bench because after we finished squat, we were like, okay, we're so much ahead. We don't have to push bench that much because my bench always weird when I'm trying to grind. I cannot grind bench. That's one thing that we've noticed. So the one thing we did was like reduce my openers and put up because I wanted to open a 145 bench because I was so convinced that Alexis was gonna hit 170 bench. So they were not posting stuff, but I was just like stretching everyone out. Like I'm gonna stretch you out until I don't know. So but then after my squat, we open with 142.5, and then we do a 5 kilo jump and then a 5 kilo jump. So it was just there at the competition when we make like the plan, we were trying to make like plans and all this stuff. If you see the totals that I come out with, I'm like, it was around 123, 124 GL. So it's high. I knew that. So Christoph knew that. We all knew that because Agatha hit the 124 GL in the 69. So but she was competing in the 76, and the total she would have needed to hit 124 GL was like around 630. I mean, Christoph did all of the calculation. Trust me. He did. And us being on the last day, we could follow the whole competition and see who is hitting a higher GL or who is not hitting a higher GL. So we could see like, what is possible and what wasn't possible. So yeah, I think we didn't, I mean, it's not like I said I was gonna win overall, but we said that the person that will win the 84 is going to win overall. So and that was just, I mean, when Christopher realized that, it was like you could see like this shock kind of thing on his face because that was crazy. Thinking about the fact that a plus woman was gonna win overall GL was something that it was like just bizarre for him. So it's crazy.
That's why everyone's in shock. And then you guys like, no, we did the calculations. We said that. It's like, no, but it doesn't happen. So we aren't thinking it anyways. Like that's really incredible though. Like, and you extended the record by like you got 731. Like on the worst prep of your life, you're never allowed again to think a bad prep means you're not gonna do well. You extended the world record and record squat.
If you listen to I mean, Jordan's not put me first either, but Sophia also did not put me first, but they both mentioned that if my squad show up, that they see me winning the competition. And I remember when I was talking to to Jordan, and he said that I'm gonna decide the pace of that competition. I'm gonna decide who wins again because of my squats. So it's just like the fact that people know I was injured, but it was also, I mean, it was a difficult situation. The thing that I also did not like, I would say, when I listened to the previews, it was the fact that if you want to say that, okay, Sonita was injured, but Sonita have a massive squat, right? You all know that I have a massive squat, but you say, yeah, because she's not really posting much because she's injured. We don't know what she's going to do at the World Championship. But you're putting me third because also you're saying that you don't know if Brittany is not posting anything, Alexis is not posting anything. But you're putting them first and second. I'm like,
not wrong.
You understand what I mean? You cannot say because I'm injured or I'm not posting much that you're going to put me on third. But also you still say, Alexis is not posting much, Brittany's not posting much, but I'm going to put them first and second.
You were not wrong. You were not said one wrong thing. I do agree. I think the biggest thing, like as someone who obviously did this, I did the same thing. I'm guilty. I know I did it. All right. I think it's more so I'm so used to Brittany posting the side view that means nothing to me. And I'm just like, I expect nothing. I expect to see nothing.
Yeah.
I think for Alexis, just because she hasn't had a down meet, even though it was her first international meet, I was like, okay, well, she wasn't posting as much, but I'm like, I haven't seen her have a down knee. I'm just gonna assume. And then on top of that, I'm like, but you're saying your squat's not going well. I'm like, see, you need the squat. You said it out loud. So
I did. But look at it, like I point out in the beginning of my prep, I did a 280 squat for ROPE 6. That's trend. Okay, for me, I wasn't seeing the light out. I mean, I was in a dark place. I wasn't seeing the light out of it. But if you're somewhere that is scouting and you look at it, you'll be like, something like that. It doesn't just disappear. If you're that strong already at the beginning of your prep, it doesn't just go away. So it's like, if she's a bit healthy, because I am always on high dose of ibuprofen in my competitions, whether pain or no pain, I'm competing.
I know I'm guilty. I'm sorry. All right. I will give you I am sorry. I did it. It won't happen again.
No, it's okay. I know it's like people were so used to me spoiling them with my big squat lift that they were like, oh, now we're not seeing it. It's okay.
You're not wrong. I was missing it. I was like, what about where are my pretty lips on the gram? Hold up now. But
I know.
regardless, though,
But the thing is also the fact that the last 2 weeks that I was able to like do a reasonable squat, I didn't even think about to post it or not to post it.
Mhm.
I was like, whatever, because I'm trying to build my confidence as a lifter because I like to be confident when I'm lifting. And it doesn't always have to be because I remember asking Joey if I should post it and or I should post it. Joey gave me like the options of why I should post it and also why I shouldn't. Like these are two options, but he think that I should post it. And I was like, I was just like, yeah, whatever, really. Because I also know one thing that it's not a nice thing when people don't post lift. I was against it at Sheffield when I was prepping for Sheffield. I know that was pissing me off. That my point was the fact that I felt like Sheffield did so much to organize the competition and give us like such a platform to like showcase our talents or like show us out there. The least we the athlete can do is post our training and boost the competition. Because if you're posting all those big lifts you're hitting in the gym, it's gonna like boost the competition more and put it out there as well. But if you're hiding the lift, there's nothing that people can talk about the athletes that are coming to the competition. So that was like really pissing me off every day. But every day I was still posting my squat that I was making. So it was like I know how annoying it can be when people are not posting lift. But yeah, it is what it is. If people think like I had a amazing prep because I did a 10 kilo PR, that I mean I cannot change what people think. It's all the fact that that's what I went through, and that's one of the reason why I actually posted a screenshot of Joey's message and my voicemail of me like sobbing in the bathroom in the toilet was simply to show people like, see, I was honest with my prep, and I've always been, and I put a side of me being very vulnerable out there. So that's just me saying like, see, I had nothing to hide. I had I had 2 weeks. I said I had 2 weeks to push my squat, which I used it. I mean, I was hard on myself. I went to the gym saying if I don't hit this squat today, then I'm not going to be able to squat at the World Championships. I put myself through that. So I don't owe nobody like an explanation like anything else than the fact that I was trying to be very honest with how my prep was going. And I did say it on my story as well, like these are feelings that I'm not really used to. I mean, prepping, I've never really had something like this. And all these feelings to me are very new because I felt like I was being a little bit too bitchy about being injured. That I was like, nah, I'm gonna sign out of Instagram.
But you did what you had to do for your mental health, honestly, when you were feeling not as good. So
Yeah, yeah. But I thought it was also like the idea of people think like I never have a bad day because I have talked to also females like when I'm out there and they think like yeah when I'm having a bad day and I open Instagram and I see you posting squats, it's like making me feel like I shouldn't be having a bad day, and I'm like
I mean,
girl, some days I'm dragging myself, like I'm literally like dragging my feet into the gym. So that is like normal. It's okay to have a bad session or to have a bad day because it's not. I don't train on motivation the whole year through. Some days I go just because I'm out of discipline. It's not even out of motivation anymore because someday I don't want to catch the gym at all.
yeah. I mean, Instagram is highlight reels, and we all know that. So
I
it's rare
know.
to post like today I hated it and today was terrible and I want to go home and I complain the whole time and like no one's really posting.
Yeah. It's like it got to a point for me where I feel like because I was pushing so much heavy singles or doubles that I feel like uh the when I do like reps, and I feel like it didn't matter anymore because they were not as heavy as my singles are. And it was just like I had like this pressure of constantly wanting to post only heavy singles, like look at what I hit, look at this single that I did this time and all the stuff where it's like, no, I need to show people like I also do the work, the job is done with the reps that you do, not really like I don't do single every day, every day, of course not. Before you see me lift a single, there's a 4 weeks of me doing reps and building up to that single. So it's not like out of a sudden I have like this big single that I'm posting out. No, it takes me time to build for it. It takes me time to prepare for it, both physically and mentally to prepare for the single. So it's not like every day I get up, I'm like, I bridge singles. I eat singles.
Of course not. What is next for you? Obviously, you're Sheffield, and then there's the World Games, but you also have a decent amount of gap. Do you plan on just training? Or are you gonna do like a small meet just to like feel out something before Sheffield? Like, what are you gonna do?
At the moment, I'm being invited to the Go Power meet in France, but again, because of my shoulder, I'm doubting if I want to do it because I still want to go like into rehab for like the next 3 months for my shoulder because at the moment I think I benched like what 2 times since I came back from the World Championships, and it's something where I feel like I need to address it because I want to be able to have two healthy shoulders. I want to be able to bench press 160 one day, and always doing that on ibuprofen is not really fun. So I doubt it. But I'm gonna do the nationals, Belgium nationals, but I really also don't have to go too heavy.
Mhm.
Uh, so it's just gonna be like a small kind of a training thing for me. I wanna do it also because I want to promote the sport in Belgium. So I don't want to be like I'm underlooking my nationals only because I'm doing international competitions. So it's a thing where I want to do it too, but just to not too light, but not heavy either lift.
Yeah,
And yeah, and just the focus at the moment is just to be in a healthy position and and prepare for Sheffield when we have to when we start prepping for Sheffield because next year is a lot. After Sheffield, I might have to do the World Championship because I think we have to do the World Championship to qualify for the next Sheffield. So it's a tough thing next year.
when is your wait? Yeah, how close together is it?
It's 8 weeks out. It's 8 weeks. I think 8 weeks from the War Games.
That's what it is. Oh, that was a brain fart moment. I knew that because Steve keeps talking about that. It's the 8 week before. So one thing that Steve Novi keeps mentioning for like Wasco, for example, who's doing the same
Mhm.
thing, got Sheffield,
Yeah,
then IPF, then World Games, they have to
yeah,
prioritize which one they push at. They're like,
yeah,
they made it clear like, he cannot push all three. So
yeah,
talking about, I mean, Sheffield obviously like you don't go there and not push. So Sheffield, you have to push it, and
yeah,
then you
yeah,
have the championship also, but you don't have to necessarily make weight for the World Games, even though you don't have to make weight in general. So like,
yeah. Yeah.
are you thinking the same kind of thing? Like you're gonna maybe not prioritize the World Games as high and push the first two? Like, do you have any kind of thought process?
I think my goal is to win the World Games. So it's on gel points. So my the thing is the World Championship in the middle. I don't know. I don't know. I can only tell you right now because I have no idea how we can make that work. Because that's gonna be like in the beginning of the prep for the War Games.
Yeah,
So it's really just in the middle and it's just in my way. I feel like if I could kick it out, I'll kick it out like kick it out of the way. But I really cannot do that. So but if I also want to go to Sheffield like in 2026, I have to do the World Championships. So
yes,
it's a hard pill to swallow that one. So yeah, because from Sheffield to the World Championships, I think there's like 5 months in between.
yeah, there is.
It is from the World Championships to the World Games. That is, I'm looking at it like, what the hell is this?
The timing could not be worse.
I am a super heavyweight. I recover for two people. I need twice the time to recover.
But you are lifting the heaviest loads of everyone at the meet, so you're not wrong. You're like your body does need to recover. I think the only plus side is that at least the two people who are going to World are also both for you in Sheffield, like Alexis
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so like that is one bright side where if they weren't, you might be like, dang, you really get to just like go in and like
yeah. I think I have one advantage because the World Championships in Germany, which is a car drive away from my home.
that is better. I
I
didn't
don't
know.
have to. I don't have to travel. I don't have to do nothing. I just have to get all the money of the competition and drive.
Oh, it's gonna be such a nice feeling. You're gonna feel so weird not traveling.
I know going to go to the World Championship is it's crazy, but I will say because I cannot prep for the World Championships because I want to prep for the War Games.
Yeah.
So it's I can only do so many preps in a year, being a super heavyweight, and I prefer to like and also being somebody that's very prone to injury because my shoulder I used to be a handballer before, so my right shoulder is very prone to injuries, and it just get injured very fast.
Okay.
So I really cannot like do that much competition behind each other prepping for them. So it's either we stand back world championships. The thing is, you cannot even stand back world championships for these points. Like, girl, have you seen our totals? I mean, the top five is a battle.
That seems like sandbag equaling like 2.5 kilos less. So like what? How much can we really sandbag?
Who knows? Maybe by that time I can squat like 200 kilo for RP 6 to 7.
If you just keep getting ridiculously strong, that's the key, and then you can sandbag because you're so much stronger.
Yes, because if I can do 300 kilos at RP 6 to 7, it doesn't have that much effect on me like it would if it was like RP 8, or RP 9. So fingers
Yeah,
crossed on that one. I need
yeah.
extra prayers.
My fingers are crossed for you. I know I want to take too much more of your time. I know you were at Silent Worker. What
Mhm,
was that meet environment like compared to Worlds? Because this is the first Worlds where we had a
mhm.
massive audience cheering
Yeah.
the whole time. Were the vibes kind of similar?
I didn't compete at the silent worker meet,
Yeah, I
but
know,
I
but you
was
were there.
there.
You're handling, right?
But it's a crazy. I mean, the meet is so good that you just want to be part of it. That's how I feel. Each time I'm there in the public, I'm like, oh. I mean, I remember doing my first silent worker meet in 2021, and by then it was still like very small and it was still growing. But if you look at it now, things like 5 times the size it was when I did it the first time. Like, oh my God, I really don't know. I really don't know how to describe it, but it's really fun for me being out there because I cannot really compare it to the World Championships because again, the World Championships is always going to be the World Championships. The thing I like about the World Championship is because you have like so many people from other nationalities like just there and all cheering for you and all those things, which is something you cannot have when it's just like in France, or you cannot have when it's just like at the Euros even. So it's that's one thing where I cannot really compare it to the World Championship, but I think a silent worker made on its own is like really an amazing competition.
It
Yeah.
seemed like it from afar. So I'm
Yeah,
happy.
the way they organize it, the way they're doing it, they're doing such an amazing work. I always say that because they're doing such an amazing work for the athlete. They're giving French athlete like a very fun, stage to compete at, and very like it's sort of like an international experience. That's how I'm sure it feels for a lot of them because it's just that good. So
That's incredible.
yeah,
Last thing on your link tree, I see Jungle Strength Apparel. Is that your brand?
yeah, that is my brand. That is like my fitness apparel brand. So it's
Tell me about it.
what?
Tell me about it. I mean, I went on and saw, and I'm like, your like combination, like the outfits and the bras and the leggings, like, they look really good.
I know. So I've always wanted to have something of my own, like a brand, because I remember in like 2018, I had like an online shop, but it was like I was more like a retailer. So I bought like things from mostly a Italy brand, and I sold them. I had like for clothes and shoes and so, but I had to stop that. When I started powerlifting, I was working like 2 jobs and all that stuff. So it was a little bit too much for me that I couldn't really keep up. I couldn't like fill in my stuff on time and all those things. So I had to like give that up. And so from then on, I've always had like still the goal like to like start my own thing and own my own brand. So that was what I was working the whole of 2023. I was working on that before I got to the World Championship. I mean, I had to keep a had a break, working on it, like prepare for the World Championship. But after that, I was like went back all in, and it was just. I always say to people the way I describe myself. Always say I grew up in the wild, so it's like a jungle that I grew up, and it's like a survival of the fittest out there. So I had to do. I mean, the things that I had to go through or do to survive. It's not I mean, not the thing that you see day to day life, people go through. So I always say, for me, like, I grew up in a wild, I grew up in a jungle, so it's like you're in the mouth of you're in the lion's den, and you just need to make your way out. So that's how I always describe how I grew up. So that is how the name came for me, because it's more like a representative of who I am. So jungle, survival of the fittest, and all those things. That's just that's how I came by with that name. So
I love that. I love that it has such a big tie and meaning towards like your overall life and how you've gotten
yeah,
to where you are and how it was not easy.
yeah, yeah. And I also try to, like, some of the colors. The reason why I choose those particular colors is because it's either green or it's either like autumn colors. Because again, I'm trying to like stick to nature a bit more. So, yeah, it was overall very fun working on it. I really enjoyed working on it. So.
Amazing. Can you tell people how they can reach out to you for coaching?
For coaching, you can just either text me on my Instagram at Sonita_ML, or you can send me a message on Jungle Strength, which is my coaching page as well. So those are the two. I mean, you can reach me through all those two platforms. So, and I'm open for coaching because I want to go into full-time coaching as well, because right now I am doing half-time. And yeah, so I'm open. I have a lot of sports.
I love it. I love it. Well,
Yeah.
I hope you reach full time status, y'all. You just heard her exactly how to reach out to her. I'll put it in the show notes so you can contact her for coaching. Thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
me. I loved watching you compete. It was so phenomenal, and I'm still
Thank
in
you.
shock. It was so good.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
And catch you guys next time on the Power and Lifting